not saying the F word. You can't say the F word at Thin Man Books. It's a Emily Rendley bookstore, filled to the brim with delicate ears. It's like a church consecrated to the word that can't be spoken. Children, exotic bonsais, are urdalized, pruned, and worshipped. If you ain't say the F word, then I'm almost certain you ain't say the C word either. But you and probably say suck, since every baby does it and teenagers use it constantly. The vernacular for bowel movement is dicey. Let's assume you ain't the S word either. Makes it hard to tell uck like a baby from uck the bad word. But better ape than Ari. That till leaves hundreds of thousands of words with which to express yourself. Oh, as my other used to say, quit your itching. Not exactly, I suppose we ain't the B word either. It's a Emily Rendley bookstore dedicated to Read'em of Peach. And as poets, our duty is to Urdius and not anything controversial. So that's what's known in the biz as an old chestnut. You know, it's reliable. Mostly tonight I'm going to read new work from 2016, 2017, 2018 that nobody's ever heard before. So who knows? And I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to something controversial. Privileged white man wakes and grunts at his trophy wife, who spreads her non-cellulite thighs for his 2-minute morning diddle. She tells him he's the greatest lover, and because his Peter is harder than his arteries, makes him bacon and sends him out in his Lexus, which isn't a used Toyota Celica with cloth seats that smell like moldy cheese doodles, to float in no traffic, to work as the boss in the penthouse while emailing his memoir to McSweeney's and poems to poetry for instant acceptance, because every edgy publisher wants the latest from privileged white men named Privileged White Man. Privileged white man doesn't have PTSD from Desert Storm and doesn't have a bleeding ulcer from figuring out how to pay the medical bills for his wife's mastectomy, or the college tuition for the dropout son, or the sewer line bill for jacking up the house. And he doesn't have a boss who's an asshole and he wasn't fired and can't get hired because he's too old and flabby and opioid addicted. No, he farts rainbows and kittens and shit shiny bitcoins and little tiny yellow Mercedes AMG GT Roadsters. And life isn't hard, not a bit, for privileged white man. He doesn't age, his teeth don't rot, his gingivitis is in remission, and root canal surgery isn't in his stars. He doesn't fear nuclear war or the constant degradation of the environment. He isn't enraged by the inanity of Trump or the horror of school shootings. He is the big white black hole of his own greasy galaxy, spinning, expanding, sucking in everything to where everyone else yearns to be. The event horizon of the century, everything perfect, easy, warm, breezy, martini, Bahama, Rama, Lama, Dama, Ding Dong, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, open wide cocktails, then dinner at 8, never late, backgammon, blackjack, white tie, caviar, champagne, cricket, and sing-alongs at the club in his yacht with his bunny girl and a thong and his captain's cap and gold braid blazer, club tie, diamond stick pin, atomic Rolex, and if you swallow this privileged, whitewashed, black and white, whiter than white man fable, then you are as blind as he would be if he were real, because life's no cakewalk for nobody, man. But hey, even progressives need their niggers. Monsters. In the Halloween of 2016, suddenly the monsters became real. We see them on TV, flesh tattooed blue and green, eyes fierce, synapses slack with opioids, opening the seventh seal with broken teeth. Terror claws at their bowels, their howling welling from a dark hollow place, a torrent of judgment, a zeal for vengeance. They are right because they are right and hungry for blood. They binge watch Mad Max and Hunger Games without irony. They feed their bitter likes into the matrix and drink its bile. Their fury needs only a quick Twitter and a furor. Monsters wander the glittering aisles of the malls, shoot up clinics and gay bars and schools in the name of Jesus, post portents of their own demise on Facebook and Snapchat, lose sleep imagining immigrant terrorists come to slaughter them. Monsters are on the ballot and voting and screaming of fraud and clawing at the viscera of this hallucinatory democracy and swallowing and spewing false tales and devouring their own tales. Monsters everywhere, voracious beasts glimpsing empire in the mirror as we slouch past, shocked at the carnage dripping from our own broken jaws. Yeah, that was right around election eve. So lighten it up. We moved in 2017 from the Snoqualmie River Valley down to Portland. So I had to clean out the refrigerator, and this is called cleaning out the refrigerator. The kombucha mother comes with us in a jar, but the hoisin sauce, why did we buy hoisin sauce, has got to go. Dark, sticky, stinky, it was best by 2013. Though I was best by 1969, and I'm still along for the ride. The kombucha mother, great nurturing cephalopod, mocks me from its murky microbial ocean. Me, who's stymied over little packets of yeast yellow with age, and my stiff hands, and the stains that won't come out, and all the unread poems I wrote while in the quiet cold of the dark fridge, the maple syrup pooled, sallow onions fossilized, and the hoisin sauce went bad. So while we're on the topic of refrigerators, I saw a sign outside the Stillwater Hill Church. Roy knows where that is.
Exactly.
Said, if God had a refrigerator, your picture would be on it. This is called God's refrigerator. You mean he doesn't? How does he keep his bud cold? What about his leftovers? Are we his leftovers? Sentient casseroles with a touch of mold, a smudged expiration date? Or we're God's ungrateful kids, too cheap to buy the old man a fridge, sassing back, if you're so omnipotent, get your own damn fridge. Get yourself the whole Mysterious Ways appliance line, a waffle iron to fry children, a xenophobia zapper, a brainwasher, a stainless steel rack to break apostates on the wheel of dogma. Here's the deal. I'll get the old boy one of those nice fridges with French fucking doors and an ice maker if he'll freeze war, poverty, and disease, snap neo-Nazism and Tupperware, throw in a few child-molesting priests, fundamentalists, and Taliban chiefs, and drop it all in the Arctic crypt marked in his awe-inspiring script, toxic waste, do not thaw. Okay, bummer again. Going dark. 5/27/2017, which is the date, many of you probably know of this event, that there was a terrible attack at the Max station in Portland on involving some young men who came to the aid of a Muslim woman who was being harassed, and they were killed. I almost posted something, but there's nothing to say. This is the death of poetry. I watched this brutal world grind its children to stone. This is the death of poetry. The steel that cut decent men on the Max slashed my throat too. They stood against hate and choked on their blood. Where could a poem start or end? To begin is to scream, to end obscene. This is the death of poetry. I am a juiced husk, done lying between the lines. Do not speak of life after death in a land of death before death. I keep my head down, put one foot in front of the other. This is the death of poetry. The poet must write the viscera of bodies, each a treatise on the death of poetry. It is too much. We cry and pray and write, and still Rick and Taliesin died and are dead and will stay dead forever. So what's to say? Always the good dying, the bastards lying, the death of poetry. Micah, a poet, survives scarred against life. This is the death of poetry. Unless you speak a language of skin, bone tropes, blood sonnets, tongues to raise the dead literally, not literately, who gives a damn? Two good men do not see another moon, and this is the death of poetry. Their throats cut by a lunatic who yet lives, and my fury burns the page. If that Nazi were here and I could kill him, my fury is the death of poetry. A life of cruelty is the death of poetry, is the end of the line. Silence. And this is the death of poetry. Read history, not poetry. We are not a race of poets. Maybe I'll just go straight to a chestnut. Macaroon-mouthed woman is for my wife, Carol, who couldn't come down with me today, but some of you know her. I love my macaroon-mouthed woman. She's soft, meaty, wildly kind to all creatures, wily squirrels, quick birds, acrobatic raccoons, and Charlie, the black cat who has adopted our back stoop as his boudoir. We've been together so long I can't remember her name, but her scent clings to me like midnight humidity. I tell her to chase Charlie away, but she won't. Says Charlie's besotted with spayed old Charlotte, who's twice his age, never goes out, sits by the slider, watches Charlie watch her, and purrs. My macaroon-mouthed woman sees eye to eye with Charlie, knows it's all a big ramble. You've got to carouse, caterwaul, sleep outside the slider, love what you can never possess. The way I adore her as she shimmies out the back door, hugging sacks of seed, heralded by a fanfare of birdsong. So here's another kitty cat poem. Our cat Charlotte, or Olive, died last year. And I wrote this at Litfuse Poets Workshop, which is an intro to, this is the anthology after 10 years of Litfuse. I'm no longer executive director, and but a wonderful, we have a wonderful executive director, and Natalie Diaz will be the featured artist this year. Ingrid, you're there, yes, was our featured artist one year, and you know, it's a really nice gathering of serious poets having fun and doing good work. So this is called Where She Likes to Sit. Carol put Olive in front of the fireplace where she likes to sit. She's our cat. She's dead. It's not Olive. It's ashes in a box, but Carol put Olive in front of the fireplace where she likes to sit, or liked, or always sat, on cardboard from a box and watched. Carol put Olive in front of the fireplace where she likes to sit, and it's not really a fireplace, just a space heater and video screen. And it's not really Olive, just ashes in a pretty wooden box that I'd better not trip over because she likes to sit where Carol put her. Carol put Olive in front of the fireplace where she likes to sit, but where's Olive? Where she likes to sit, but she's not there, not sitting. At best, she's curled in cosmic kitty consciousness, sitting where she likes to sit, not in a box on a box. Carol put Olive in front of the fireplace where she likes to sit because Carol is Carol and love runs deep and cold past stones and death, and somewhere Olive purrs and spirits are alive, though Olive is dead and we vacuumed her fur. She's gone, but here, sitting in front of the fireplace, which isn't, and we miss her, where she likes to sit, in a box, watching, where I better not trip. She used to put herself underfoot and we'd trip and she'd yowl, but she doesn't yowl now, so I better not trip over Olive, who isn't Olive, who doesn't put herself where Carol put her, where she likes to sit and watch and purr and follow the sun in front of the fireplace that isn't a fireplace, that has no ashes but olives in a box, sitting there still. Here's a shorty. There are some Mexican restaurants in Portland called Cha Cha Cha, and one of them was put in a house I used to live in. This bright Mexican cantina was once my drab home. Sophomore at Reed, moody as Portland weather, obsessed with Kant and pot, Zappa and Enlightenment. I slept on a mattress on the floor amidst cobwebs, paperbacks, and cinder block shelves. The house was run down, chopped up, littered with empties. Now it sways to salsa rhythm, glows warm orange, purple, and red. I, too, am older, looser, happy for my old house come to life, the two of us bright and lightened at last by tortillas, chiles, and a little cha-cha-cha. These are all, as I said, experiments. Nobody's heard these. Pony. When I'm 100, I want a pony and you, young and bronzed, galloping nude through grassy hills as ever we did or didn't do in this life. When I'm 100, I want wind to blow, grass to grow, one eager, soft-cheeked, quaint newspaper reporter to ask about life back when. When I'm 100, I'll say, we had Bullwinkle Moose, TV dinners, Spiro Agnew, and when they ask if it was better, I'll say no, but it was all new. When I'm 100, if I'm dead, I want to gallop nude through grassy hills as ever we did or didn't do in this life, this precious life we clawed through. When I'm 100, I want a chocolate banana cake with sparklers and a pony and you, your kindness naked like wind that may or may not still blow through grassy hills, dead or still living. We have a grandchild, just one, but so precious, to our grandchildren. In the tides to which we ebbed, we embed our pebble of sorrow, the pregnant belly of 1,000 failures. We will not regret these tears, but lick the salt and be nourished. We will not ask forgiveness, but grant it. When we open our eyes for the first time, what does it matter if we are already old? Extinction is the song of this vexed time of greed and lies, but ever there is the beating heart, the new life that knows not our fractured ways and cries, this is new, whole, I will make it mine. Let us hand over wonder intact. It was never ours. It may not be theirs, but they can dream and fail and soar. Even as we lie down, we would not deny them the journey. Wear a coat, pack a snack. Who can know what's next? So let's see, two more. And I want to, before I do two more, I want to thank you so much for listening to me. When I did the first ingathering for LitFuse, I quoted Jim Bodine, who's a poet from Yakima, who said, listening is making love, listening is the deepest penetration, listening is a political act. Poetry brings the news of the other world. Being called to poetry, it seems to me, is being called to listen. It is listening to the deepest sounds, inside the body, inside oneself, to the quietest impulse in the many ways of listening. So thank you for listening. This is my last chestnut one. There were bees. There were bees here. Fat, clownish bumbles, all fuzz and buzz, caked with pollen. Not menacing wasps with stingers like angry fingers, but gravity-defying fat workers hoovering over dahlias like cleaning ladies. Crawling in and out of snapdragons, miners silly with gold dust of lily stamens, struck dumb by chrysanthemums, intoxicated by delphinium, adoring each allium like plump postmen pausing to fondle the pensioners' breasts. There were bees here, where now there are only hungry spiders, memories, the sorrow of ripe lonely blossoms open to the night, sighing, who will love me now? Who will love me now? The bees all gone. Who will sip my nectar, stroke my petals tenderly, visit me the lonely summer afternoon, take me home and churn my kiss to honeycomb. And one more, I think I picked this one out from the computer for Joy and her husband, called A Walk, which I've dedicated to many old friends, my dad and Julian and others who are no longer with us. Gulls squawk and pull at freshly cracked mollusks. A boy drums in the tunnel beneath the tracks, primal thumps like strange hearts in my chest. With so many dead, there are never enough poems. We struggle for words like breath drawn just before going under, clinging a moment longer to our clammy sentience. The rest is love, hope, despair, the ancient ritual of family rubbing one another raw as penitents, then holy, like stones tumbling in icy surf, polished by faith in our better selves.